People, what's good? Karo, Kason, Kale, Shidadani. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're well. It's your boy Phoenix the Fireboy, aka P-Fire, aka African P, and of course this is another episode of A to Z of Africa. Today's letter in A to Z of Africa is B, and B stands for Benin Bronzes. So follow me and let's get into it. So what are the Benin Bronzes? Well, first of all, let's talk about Benin. So there's the country Benin and there's the state Benin, which is in Nigeria. So Benin is right next to Nigeria, as in the country, and obviously the state Benin is in Nigeria. Just so you can understand what I'm talking about, here is a map of Nigeria. So as you can see on the left hand side, there's the country Benin, and then if you go all the way down to the bottom where it says Ogun State, and then you go to Ondo State, and then you go to Benin City. Benin City is where the Benin Bronzes originated from. So when we talk about the Benin Bronzes, we're talking about the bronzes cast in Benin City. Okay, so let's get into it. There may be some of you out there who are aware of the Benin Bronzes, and there may be some of you who are totally new to this and have never even heard of them. So the Benin Bronzes are artifacts from the Kingdom of Benin, and these artifacts are in museums across the world as of current. So let's talk about the origins of the Benin Bronzes. The Kingdom of Benin is known for its bronzes, it's known for its master craftsmen, its artisans. You know, it's one of the cities and kingdoms that really uplifted and moved forward the arts of bronze casting. So let's cast our mind back to around 1880, 1890. The British are in Africa. They're going across the land, doing what they do best, you know, stealing, pillaging, looting. And they've gone across Africa and they've been to certain parts of Nigeria, and certain parts of Nigeria have fallen, shall we say, under them. Around this time, 1890, the Benin Kingdom, it was holding fast, it was holding steady. You know, they were really, you know, like, what's the word? They were really fearsome warriors, I guess, and they had kind of built like a fortress-like kingdom. So there were other kingdoms, obviously, around the time. Benin Kingdom was one of them, but theirs was one of the kingdoms that was hard to, let's say, infiltrate. So the story goes that the British, I don't know, their commanders in general, whatever, wanted to go see the king of Benin at the time, the Oba. Oba means king. So like Oba Phoenix, King Phoenix, right? Okay, so they wanted to go see the king at the time. And the message got back to the British like, look, we're not against you lot coming. However, before you come here, we have to do certain rituals, because we don't let foreigners into our place without doing these sacred rituals. You know, it's custom, and basically don't come here until we give you the word that all the necessary has been done. Of course, with usual British arrogance, the British were like, fuck all that, listen, we're in your part of town now, we're gonna make our way down anyway. Of course, they had soldiers in tow with them. A lot of them would have probably been African soldiers, you know, so to minimize the risks to their soldiers. So off they went to Benin City. They're on their way. They got ambushed. It's like, we warned you lot. This is not what you do. You can't just be coming here and thinking you're the shit. Boom, got ambushed. Everyone died, bar 2 people. Like, gone. They was fucked. You lot out of here. Boom. The 2 people, they escaped into the bushes, and I think they survived for like 5 days, and then they made their way out. So I wasn't there, obviously, so I don't know what happened. But the story, I read up on this. So the story goes that they was in the bush, and then they managed to find their way out. So I don't know if they were found, or if they managed to find their way to freedom, or whatever it is. But this is what happened. Cool. This is in 1897 that this happened. So like I said, in the 1890s and probably before that, the British were all over the gas. So in 1897 this happened. So word has now got back to the British. Oh, your team has been slaughtered. These savages, what have they done? Cool. So now British are like, fuck this. We're sending out a party, an expedition. It was called. I think it was called something like the British something expedition. So the British are heading back to the Benin Kingdom. They've had their face muddied by the so-called savages. You know, how could they do this to us? We're going to go there and teach them a lesson. So they headed to the Benin Kingdom and they headed towards the palace. They looted the palace, killed the people, pillaged, destroyed everything, and then carted over, I want to say like 4,000 pieces away. Now this might not be true because other countries, I believe France as well, took some pieces, but all in all they carted away a big chunk of not only Benin history, and I'll get to that in a minute, but Nigerian history. So they've taken this, they've killed the majority of the people. Oba has gone into exile now, he's escaped and he's gone into exile. So let's talk about these pieces that they've taken. So like I said, they've taken a number of pieces in their thousands. Now these pieces, in the beginning I said, were like stories, you know, they were plaques, they were bronzes. And the reason I mentioned they were like stories, the Benin people, what they did was they were master craftsmen and they created like these plaques. I'll show you some down below. Look at these. So as you can see, there's a number of plaques here which were created in Benin, and as you can see, they tell stories. So these plaques here tell a story of the Benin people, the Benin Kingdom, wars that were fought, kings that were merciful, you know, big days, big moments in history that occurred for the Benin people, you know, creation of settlements, so on and so forth. These plaques told it all. And they were looted by the British. They were stolen, taken. Alongside the plaques you had the bronzes. Some were pure bronze, some were made out of composite metals, you know, brass. And again, these were artisan pieces. If you look, just take a look at this piece here. Look at the detail that is on that piece. Look at it. Beautiful, beautiful craftsmanship. You know, and this was something that the Kingdom of Benin was producing. And again, they were not producing it as pieces for sale. They were producing it as stories, plaques to be decorated in the palaces, gifts for other dignitaries. So these were highly coveted pieces that were being created by master craftsmen within the kingdom. Alongside this, there was ivory, countless amounts of ivory, because of course, being Africa, ivory was used in many things, you know, jewelry, serving dishes, and so on and so forth. So a lot of this stuff was taken alongside the beads, you know, the coral beads, like in Benin, and I guess you would say amongst the Igbo people, definitely, and Edo people, this coral is a traditional, you know, it's red coral, or would they call it pink coral? I think it's called red coral, but this is, you know, at its purest, it's worth a lot. It's like pearls or opal, I think. I don't know, this is red coral, but I don't know if there's levels, grades. I'm guessing there must be like diamonds. There's levels to this thing. But anyway, red coral. So now, to pay for this expedition, they call it expedition, we call it a murderous, looting, pillaging mission. To pay for this, they've sold some of the bronzes. Some have gone to the British Museum, some have gone to France, some have gone to different countries all across the world. To make matters worse, when these people have taken these artifacts back home, you know, leaving a country without decades and decades and decades of culture, because again, like I said, it's not just the plaques are not just decorative items, they are stories. They tell you about certain moments in history for the Benin Kingdom. You know, when we went to this land, or and we conquered them, and we made them part of our own kingdom. So on and so forth. When this king, I remember when he fought this battle, or blah 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 blah. Okay, so all of this is gone. Of course, it will be passed down to the children, the grandchildren, and the great grandchildren. Yes, but for history to be continually told correctly, you need the original artifacts. You know, because I could tell you A, B, C, and D about Anne Frank, but Anne Frank's got a book, right? So in that book is the original story from her side. I could tell you that story, but it will get diluted over time. Firstly, you steal our belongings, you steal our culture, you steal our history, and then to make matters worse, you and your friends of the paler skin then go, oh, these dark-skinned natives, savages could never have made this. I wonder where they got the know-how to do this. It beggars belief. Okay, so the Benin Bronzes have now been stolen. There are 4,000 artifacts all across the world now. So remember, again, France has got a hand in this. Portugal have got a hand in this. Obviously, Britain have a hand in this. There are a number of museums in the world which today these Benin Bronzes reside in, and there's only maybe 40 or 50 pieces out of the 4,000 pieces that reside in Nigeria. Now let's equate these Benin Bronzes to artifacts stolen during the Holocaust. Whether it be diamonds, whether it be paintings, whether it be books, you know, whether it be jewellery, whatever. There were a number of items which were stolen and looted during the Holocaust. Over the years, these items have been returned. I'm not saying everything's been returned, but they have been deemed items of, what shall I say? They've been deemed items gained unfairly. My English, it left me there. But they've been deemed as items that have been gained unfairly and have blood on them. They belong to the people, because as we know, the Holocaust was a terrible thing. It was a terrible thing. And it would not be right for people to benefit off the proceeds of the sale of, for example, paintings stolen from Jewish aristocrats' homes and so on and so forth during the Holocaust. Now, equate that with the Benin Bronzes. Even more so, because these pieces depict our history. And again, it's not the history of Nigeria as a whole, or it's a part of our history, a kingdom. All our kingdoms are part of our history. So one part of Niger history is another part of Niger history. So imagine, these are pieces that actually depict and tell the stories, and were in the kingdoms. And not only that, they show the arts and crafts of a certain time and of a certain people. Not only have these been taken, now museums over the world are showing them, or have shown them since 1897. They've shown them, and they've you know, had people come and wonder at the marvels of the art from Africa, the dark continent. You know, come and marvel. Meanwhile, buku do is coming to them. Buku do. So you got them for free, and now you're making buku do of them. You know, I know Queen Elizabeth was given one of the Benin Bronzes. I think one of our Niger dignitaries gave her one. I don't know how he got that, but he gave her one, Shan. I think it's one of the original ones, so I don't even know. There's a lot of stuff on the internet that I'm actually reading up. My knowledge on this is minuscule, microcosmos, shall we say. So they're making buku do of our artifacts, and we're thinking, hold on, these don't belong to you. Now cast your mind to the scene in Black Panther where Warmonger, is it Warmonger? Warmonger goes to the British Museum, and he's like, hey, yo, where'd y'all get all this from? It's like, oh yeah, something to, it's like, oh, y'all got it or y'all stole it. Do you know what I mean? And right next to it, there's Benin Bronzes there. I think he was talking about a Wakanda axe or something, I can't remember. Memory of a Fiv. I have the memory of a sieve. So that's really how we feel. What Warmonger said is how we feel. I just realised I've been saying warmonger. It's killmonger. Listen, shoot me. Don't shoot me, actually. I like being alive. Anyway, killmonger. Sorry, back to the seriousness. So Killmonger's like, hey, this ain't yours. You know what I mean? This is not yours. This is ours. And that sentiment that Killmonger had is exactly the sentiment that all us Africans and all us black people across the world should have, because there are things that were stolen. They have blood on them and they're being used to generate income. Meanwhile, us back home, we're not getting to see our pieces. We have to come to different countries. We have to come to the countries of the thieves and sometimes pay to go and see what belongs to us. The Benin Bronzes are a really, really important part of our history. You know, they, again, like I said, the people were marveling at the craftsmanship of it. I mean, look at these. Look at these here. Look at the detail. Look at the finish. Look at the beauty that emanates from these pieces. Look, I mean, I'll just go through a couple here just so you can see. So where are we today? I think in 2017 France agreed to return the bronzes, the plaques, the ivory, the artifacts that were in their possession back to Nigeria, as should be. You know, and I think there may be a number of countries who are doing the same. However, hear the joke. Britain said, I think in 2018 maybe, Britain said, oh, we will lend them to you. Eh? You will lend them, Ke? Ah, real Danny, you will lend them. What do you mean you will lend them? They're ours. You will lend them. So you still want to stand on your, you know, degenerative history, your murderous, bloody, pillars. I might have made that up. Pillars. I don't even know. Pillagers history. You still want to stand on that and say, oh, we'll lend them to you, but they belong to us. No, 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 no. You will not lend them to us. You will give them back to us. There's currently a petition that I've signed, and you know, I've sent around to my friends to sign. There's currently a petition which says restore the Benin Bronzes back to its rightful place, which is Nigeria. Again, I'm going to put the link down, and please guys, go to it, sign up. It's little things like this that make huge differences. They don't belong to them, they're ours. It's really important that we do things like this, because again, this is part of our history. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about this because these artifacts, as I've shown you in these pictures, they're beautiful. They are craftsmanship of the highest order. And you know, again, we're always made to feel lesser than because it comes from an African origin. You know, oh, it's not from the land of Plato, you know, the Greeks. It's not from the land of the Romans. You know, it's not from the land of the Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings. Oh, look at how their helmets are, so amazing. And then when you come to us, we're casting bronze statues with detail. I'm not even talking about the plaques or the ivory castings. I'm talking about the casting of bronze in the old school, you know, technique. I'll also put a video down below of another person's video. I don't know who these people are that made a video, but it's a really good video, and it shows an artisan in Benin, and he's creating a piece, and it's just a really good video for you to watch. If you know anything about jewelry making, as in gold and silver, when you make a cast, it's the same process more or less, you know. You have to melt down the metal, you have to make the wax cast, and you have to fill the wax cast, and then you have to bake it, etc, etc, and then you get your piece. Really good video down below, please watch it. Hopefully I'll be able to get in contact with whoever made that video and sort of have a dialogue with them. So this is where we are. We as a people are a people who are industrious, we're resourceful, we're brilliant, you know, and not only that, but we're people with a deep and rich history. And when another group of people come in and try and take that history, or try and dilute it, or try and you know, sort of claim that part of your history as part of their history without telling the dark side that went into that, then we should all be outraged. We should all be looking at these artifacts when we go into museums and go, where did that come from? How come that's here? I'm sure that's not supposed to be here. You know, you go in and you see the tombs, or you see the bust of the Sphinx, or the head, the stone, yeah, the stone bust of the Sphinx. You're like, surely they didn't make that here. You've definitely got that from Egypt somewhere. And yet here you are, you know, proudly showing the spoils of rape, pillage, and torture. You know, and I hate to be so blunt, but there's no way to make those things sound pretty. The bronzes that were produced during that time and are still being produced, I mean, I don't know if they're still being produced in a sense of, you know, the kingdoms they are commissioning the people and saying, hey, oh yeah, marché bronzes fún ọba wa, you get me? Pardon my Yoruba, you'll be doing these bronzes for our king. I'm not sure if they're still doing that, but I do know that there are people who still carry out those traditions. And I know it's a bit of a dying trade, because the government, as usual, Niger government, instead of us to be uplifting our own, we'll try and bring our own down. The Niger government is not investing in these people, and this is like it's a dying art. Like, if these people who are doing it now die out and they don't teach no one, where will this art go? It will just be consigned to the halls of history. So, you know, I would say, I don't know if anyone from Nigeria government would watch this, but eventually one day we hope the numbers will be big enough that someone will watch it. But I would say, invest in your people. Imagine people came from another land and they stole them and they did this and they did that just so they could go and show it in their countries, and yet we have the people who make them here and we don't want to invest in them. It doesn't make sense. Invest in your people, invest in these craftsmen, invest in these artisans. Let's show our stuff to the world. Open museum of Nigeria bronzes. Let's show our stuff in the world. Let's claim our stuff back first, though. But let's create new ones. Let's create new pieces of history. So we need to be progressive. The Nigerian government needs to do more and say, listen, we want our stuff back. I know there's factions within Niger that are tirelessly fighting this cause. Listen, bring our stuff back. Bring our stuff back. Bring our stuff back. Meanwhile, the top of the chain, okay, maybe when I get to 30 other things, I will look at that one. No, we need immediate action, because if your history is not important, how can your present be important? If you're not concerned about your history, why would they take you serious about your present? And Shebi, we own most of your artifacts in our museum. Please don't talk to us. That's what the British will say. That's what the French will say. All right, the French, understandably, I hear they're giving their stuff back, but there's a list of museums in the world, in New York or in London or in Paris or in Holland, or, sorry, I use the country instead of a city. I think in Amsterdam or in all these places, the Benin Bronzes are there. And I'd like to end this video by saying, we want them back. It's our history, not yours. And if you would like to learn more about those history, you come to Nigeria and learn about that in situ. So everything that is in your museums, or we want it back. Everything that is in your papa's house, we want it back. Everything that was, you know, passed down through generations, we want it back. You know, there was a guy, a British guy, he actually returned 2 pieces because he said, I don't want to be known as the grandson of a racist. White guy, I forget, he went to Nigeria, he returned the two Benin bronzes to the Oba. And I think the Oba is like the great-great-grandson of the king at the time when they were looted. That's what you should do. Even though if it's to appease your conscience and you're like, I don't want them to look at me funny. Do it. It doesn't matter. Whatever the reason you did it is, it's appreciated. You didn't steal them, okay? We're not saying you stole them, but if you hold on to them, you're culpable. When he returned them, the king gave a speech and he said, it's good. I think it was the king who gave the speech, or one of the governors, he said, it's good that you returned them, because we have cursed everyone who still holds on to these pieces. We've put a curse on them. So now that you've returned them, you can live in peace. Now you might think, no, curse, yeah, curse smash. But, we don't know. Like, you don't know. Listen, anything that is gained by ill means, and by ill means I mean, there's blood on your hand. There's things like this and you've gained it. Listen, how can you have peace? You can't have peace. It's impossible. You know, and especially if a people, not one person's cursing you, a people are cursing you, cursing your ancestors, cursing. So my people, thank you for watching. This has been a brief insight into the Benin Bronzes. Please, like I said, check the links below. I'm going to put a couple more extra links that that I think you'll find useful, like the one where he's returning the pieces to the king. I might put that down as well. Yeah, please guys, go and do some research on this. I'm going to be reading more. What I've just given you is my brief research and my brief learning. So please, again, I want to have a discussion about this. If there's any of you that are watching this and you know a lot about this, I'd love to have a conversation with you and a discussion with you. If you don't know anything about it, hopefully this has given you a slight insight and you are now open to finding out more. So my people, thank you for joining me. This has been a real fun episode for me to make, man. It means I'm getting to learn things and, you know, understand a bit more about things I've known about but never really knew the detail. So I want to keep doing more of this, so please like, comment, subscribe guys. The more subscribers I get, hopefully I can start to monetize this, and once I start monetizing this, I can start doing those fancy drone shots over the kingdom of Benin and start going deep down in the jungle deep, you know. So yeah, again, please like, comment, subscribe. Don't be shy to like, don't be shy to comment, and don't be shy to subscribe. Again, I appreciate everyone's time. I'm sending mad love to you. So on next time, stay educated, stay beautiful. Remember, love yourself, love your skin color, and treat each other how you would want to be treated. Peace and love, gang. You know who it is. It's your boy P Fire. This has been Once. We Are Not the Same. A to Z of Africa. Deuces.